Okay, guys, we're back to a couple more examples. So our next problem, we've got just a radical expression times 2. So you have to multiply the outside numbers, 2 times 2. That's your multiplication that you have to complete. So we've got 4, and then we still have the square root of 12. Okay, and some people think you can just stop here. Well, you have to always check to see if the radical expression can be simplified. That radicand, that 12, can break down. So I can break down 12 by taking my factors of 2 and 6. I can break down 6 with 2 and 3. So then I look for my pairs, remember? So I've got a set or a pair of 2's, and that's going to come out of that radical. Well, there's already a 4 outside, so I need to multiply. So 2 times 4 gives me 8. And then whatever number that I didn't circle, that it was on the bottom of a factor tree. So the only number I didn't circle was a 3. So the 3 stays on the inside. And sometimes people say, well, the 6, you didn't circle the 6. Well, the 6 had factors under it. Any number that still continues to factor, that doesn't count as one of the bottom numbers. The only ones that you can factor out or leave in the radical are those bottom branches, the ones that end up on the bottom of that factor tree. All right, let's take a look at this next one. This one's got 3 radical expressions, so we want to multiply all of our numbers that are on the outside. So 3 times 9 times 4. Well, 3 times 9 is 27. And then 27 times 4, and I'm going to use my phone calculator, and I get 108. So 108 is going to be on the outside of the radical, because those were the 3 numbers that were on the outside of the other radicals. Now I need to multiply the inside. So I've got 6, I've got a 2, and a 10. So 6 times 2 is 12, and then 12 times 10 would be 120. Okay, and again, we don't stop there. We still have to reduce or simplify this radical, this radicand number. So I'm going to take my factors of 120. Well, 2 times 60 gives me 120. All right, I can break down 60 with 2 and 30. I can keep going with 30, and that breaks down to 2 and 15. And 15 breaks down to 3 and 5. So now I need to look for pairs. Well, with all of those numbers, I only have a pair of 2's. Okay, so I'm going to circle that. That 2 is going to come on the outside. So I do 2 times 108. Well, 2 times 108 is 216. And inside my radical are these 3 numbers that I didn't circle. I've got a 2, a 3, and a 5 that I didn't circle. So 2 times 3 is 6, times 5 is 30. So that number gets left underneath. All right. I know sometimes people think 30 is a big number to stay under the radical, but when you factor it, it can't reduce. All right, let's try one more. So this one is actually a distributive problem. Okay. So think of it as if you've got 2x on the outside of an expression. It's the same thing. You're going to multiply this 2 times the 3. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. On the inside, I've got 3 times 2, which that's actually 6 as well. Okay, then I bring down my plus sign. I'm going to distribute times the second radical expression. 2 times 4 would give me 8 on the outside. And 3 times 5 would give me the square root of 15. Okay, now I know that I need to try to reduce the number 6. Well, 6 only breaks down to 2 and 3. So I can't reduce that anymore. And 15 only breaks down to 3 and 5. So my final answer is actually what we got. We got 6 times the square root of 6, and then 8 times the square root of 15. That is my final answer when I distribute that. You cannot combine that anymore. We're going to learn next week about how to add radicals. And this is one that cannot be added because they don't have like radical signs. We'll talk about that next week. All right, hope you're doing well. Miss you guys.